Howdy everyone, this is LockNutz, and you're watching a map tour of Multimap by FalPos of the LS Mapping Team and the LS Mapping Team. Hopefully you'll stick around to see what happens. Howdy, 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 how are you guys doing today? Oh my goodness, I tell you what, today we get to go on a map tour of Multimap by FalPos of the LS Mapping Team and the LS Mapping Team. Not too shabby at all. This map is 401.55 megabytes to download and is for PC and Mac only. It will probably stay all that way because of the amount of special things on this one. Like, there are 47 different production things that are on here, and all of them need electricity. With that being said, you also need to have the production revamp by Braven, and that is 0.09 megabytes to download, so that you have to have on there to accommodate all 47 of the production facilities. You betcha. This map is fiction, and it is very loosely based on being somewhere in Germany. It also has an adjusted seasons menu, which we will take a peek at in just a little bit. Now, there are 4 starting farms on here that are fully equipped, set up for multiplayer, but what we've gone ahead and done is we have started off in new farmer mode, and there it only has 1. So what we're going to go ahead and do is see what that 1 farm you would start with, everything from land to equipment and everything else in between. So let's jump right in and take a look at your equipment. All right, everyone, so before we take a quick peek at your equipment, we're going to take a look at this because there are a couple mods on here that are for this particular map, and they are the Crone Profiliner, and that is able to carry all material. You have this lizard tank, and then this lizard tank as well, and they're able to haul all of the custom things that are available on here. So just keep that in mind. If you want to be able to find anything like that, it is on this particular section right here. Now, let's take a look at what you actually do start with. Starting off with small tractors, you start with the Lintrack. You have the Rigitrack and the Burr. The Rigitrack being an electric beast for this particular map. Jumping over to harvesters, you have one Fendt, and that does come with a grain header and a header trailer to complete the trifecta. Mowers, you start off with one Crone Big M 450. Vehicles, you start off with one pickup truck. Trailers, you have one Welger trailer. Plows, you have a Pottinger plow. Mowers, you have a Sepp Guzel for mowing. Tedders, you have a Pottinger mower. And windrowers, you have a Pottinger windrower. Forage wagon, another Pottinger. Baler, you betcha, a Pottinger Impress. Bale loader, you have this for picking up your round bales, and for the animals you do have a Joskin trailer and an MKS lizard. These are not modded ones, so if you want to haul this other stuff, you need to get something else. Front loaders, you have a Quickie front loader, and it does come with a universal bucket and bale spikes. And then to round everything off, you do have one weight that you're rocking and rolling with. So guys, quite a bit of stuff to get jumping on here. Quite a bit of stuff to get yourself rocking and rolling with. Let's take 1 second and look at that map. And here is your map, and as you can see, there are a lot of blue dots here on this map. I'm going to look at a couple of them here, but the most part here, we're going to take a look at the map. There are a lot of these custom production facilities on here. Clothes factory, it's not, that's custom, but the oil mill, the chocolatier, there's one in there. You have the ice cream production refinery. So there are quite a few different production facilities, which we're going to go ahead and take a little bit deeper look at. So don't worry about that. but I just kind of want to touch base on to show you there are quite a few of them on here. Now, you do see there are several different shape fields on here. Lots and lots of irregular shapes, which is always a lot of fun. Couple places to go ahead and buy things. It's super cool. Let's take a look at this and what you actually start off with if you start off a new farmer mode. You start off with field 24, 23, 15, and 11. Now, from what I noticed, there are, like I said, there's about four starting farms altogether. I believe this is one. I believe this is another. And I don't remember off the top of my head where the other one is. Pretty much these two locations right here is big enough where you could have multiple people playing in here. This map is definitely set up for multiplayer, so keep that in mind. Now, when we go ahead and take a look at the prices of the fields, we're going to look at the smallest field, or I should say the cheapest field, and that's field 20, and that comes in at $119,000. Not too shabby. Now we have field 7, and we have field 42. Both are very, very big fields, but field 42 comes in as the top dog at $877,000. So very, very expensive, but that's a whole lot of field you get right there. And for the most part, field prices, I'm not going to lie, they are expensive on here, but I think they work out for the size of what everything ends up being. Plus, with all the production and how this all works on here, you're going to need fields. You're not going to be making, well, you're going to be making more money on all these production items versus everything else. So with that being said, guys, let's take a second back out, and we're actually going to go ahead and look at this seasons menu that's right here. So like I said before in the beginning, this is a custom, or I should say adjusted seasons menu. For starters, one thing that pops in my mind is that the wheat and barley that's been shifted a little bit as for when the planting and growing seasons are. So it's a little bit different. It's not drastic, but it is a little bit different. So kind of keep your eyes peeled for that. Now let's jump down on the ground and talk about these production facilities. All right, everyone. So this part here is going to be a little bit more of, we're going to take the best possible look at this as we possibly can. I'm sorry right now if I do miss something or if I say something inaccurate. I'm trying to get this as best out as pretty much the best I can. So here we go. Now, we do have several different production facilities on here. And as you can kind of see over here, there are a bunch of different things on here that we're not used to seeing. We got pallets, you have salt. I don't remember what the heck that is off the top of my head, but let's go over here and take a look and see what's going on. One common thread here is you have electricity as being an input. Everything needs to have electricity. We'll go ahead and take a peek at that in just a second, but let's go ahead and take a look at all these production facilities. You have the deli salad production. You have the pasta factory. You have the biomass power plant, which is very important because it does produce electricity. And as this says down here, the biomass power plant produces electricity for the productions. Please set the power to distribute in the menu, then all productions will automatically receive power. Very, very important for doing everything here. Confectionery we come to next, and then we have the biomass, or the biogas plants right here. If you use the modded ones, they will produce electricity and you'll be able to go ahead and have that as a byproduct. The other things, we'll look at some of this stuff in just a second. Other things that aren't modded are not necessarily going to give you that as a byproduct. They're going to give you money, so keep that in mind. Then we go to the bakery, the spinnery, the tailor shop, the grape processing unit, the bakery again, the carpentry, dairy, spinnery, pallet factory, the grass dryer. This is one of those ones right here that's pretty neat where you need electricity. The fermenter, the dairy, the sugar mill, the carpentry, cereal factory, oil mill, ice cream production, grain mill, potato processing, sugar beet cutting. Now, one thing I'm going to do right now is I think we'll go ahead and we'll just kind of pop this down right here for just a second. That way we can go ahead and have that on our property. We can go ahead and see what's going on right there. Now, there were a couple of these production facilities that were on the map that don't necessarily pop up here. I'll try and hit those as we go on our tour, but for the most part, everything's pretty much the same. Selling points, you have the restaurant where you can go ahead and sell a lot of these new byproducts. Greenhouses, all these greenhouses have extra things that you need to do. Fertilizer, seed, water, pallets, and manure. Now, some of that you don't need everything on here, but pallets are one of those things that you will end up needing. So then you're going to have to buy the pallet factory. Keep all this stuff in mind. Generators. Now, this is where things really get to be kind of interesting. Over here, you have your standard thing. This is what I was talking about. You have the standard in-game stuff where you have a byproduct of money. You put this down, you get money in turn. Here, the modded ones, input solar, output electricity. You have an energy storage unit, which there's actually one here on the map here. We'll take a look at that after a little bit. But you have these other solar and wind-powered things, and instead of getting paid in money, you get paid in electricity because every production facility needs to have electricity. Now, after we're done taking a peek at that, actually, let's put this guy down right there. I know this is kind of silly and kind of ridiculous, but just bear with me. It's best for explaining. So let's hop on out of here. And now at this point, we have this production facility right here. Not too shabby, not too shabby. One thing that we're going to go ahead and do right now is come on over here to this. There we go. So you have, where is this guy here? There we go. Production. So we are going ahead and we will be producing electricity here. Deactivate. No, it should be activated. And you probably are going to end up having to get paid at the end of the day. So I do apologize. I can't exactly show you that right off the bat, but we can come in here and take a look at the flour. Now, as you can see, it needs electricity. That's one of the things that you just have to have. So you need electricity to be able to do all of this. All the formulas are slightly different in how all this stuff ends up working. Ultimately, what this comes down to, guys, is that this is way more in depth than we've ever had to deal with before. With this stuff that you can get off of Mod Hub. This is pretty unique on how you can go about doing a lot of this stuff. You need a lot more of these different products. You need all of this here to make these different byproducts. It is really, really neat on what you end up getting. So like I said, just with the flour, you have all this extra stuff here. Sorry about that for a second, guys. I had a little cough and fit. I do apologize. So the way you're looking at this, and you might be saying to yourself, what is all this extra stuff going on here? Okay. Let's ignore this lower part right here. You have the battery. You need your electricity. It comes in. You need to have one of these items. It doesn't matter which. Let's just say it's the wheat, okay? Or the wheat. You go ahead, you put your wheat in, you're going to get your normal output. If for some reason you decide to go ahead and have your pallets in there, which you don't have to have, but if you have the pallets, it's going to give you a 15% bonus in here. Pretty neat. And this is how all this stuff ends up working. You need electricity, which is new to all this stuff. You need your normal stuff. Plus, if you have your bonus items in here, you can get bonus output. So kind of keep that in mind. Very, very cool. Now, with that being said, guys, after we've taken a little bit of time looking at this stuff, seeing what's going on, let's get down on the ground. Let's get rocking. Let's get rolling. And let's get out there to see what this map actually looks like. All right, everyone, so here we are on the ground, ready to rock, ready to roll, and I do want to point something out to you guys. Just one quick thing, and then we'll move on from these production facilities and start driving around. If you might be asking yourself, what's the whole point of this? Does it make sense? Should we be doing this? Is it the best thing to move forward? Well, I tell you what, you can come down here and take a look at some of this stuff. Buns. Holy cow. Popcorn, holy cow. Oatmeal, holy cow. Potato pancakes, holy cow. Stone salt, cream, strawberry ice cream, chocolate, French fries, mashed potatoes, potato chips, hummus, brine, vinegar, tomato salad, green salad, potato salad, strawberry pralines, soy drink, oat drink, wheat semolia, pasta, spaghetti. I tell you what, guys, just empty pallets, compost, tomato juice, strawberry juice. You looked at all those prices as they're coming through there. All these byproducts, if you want to make some good cash, by golly, you're going to be able to make great cash on this map if you take a little bit of time and go ahead and buy some of the things. So one thing I do want to do is I want to let you guys know I am going to put the map up in the corner. That way you guys can kind of follow along with me as we get ourselves rocking and rolling. Now, like I had said when we were looking at the map, this area up here between this farm and what I'm going to call the farm right next door, there is an absolute ton of space here for people to rock and roll and just downright enjoy everything that they got going on here. You could have multiple people out here rocking and rolling, doing their thing on these fields or on the farms. It's just absolutely spectacular on how much room there is. Now let's get out here and start driving around on some of these roads and fields. One thing I want to let you guys know right now is that I like to drive on the fields, not to make everyone irritated, but to be able to go ahead and kind of show you what the fields look like, what the land looks like, what are you going to need to do to be able to buy things, to purchase things, to be able to plow, I should say, to be able to harvest, any of that stuff. Are you going to need to upsize equipment, or are you good where you're at? Now, taking a look at what we're seeing so far out here in the fields, it's feeling like things are actually pretty darn good. I think we're going to be okay out here taking care of stuff. Obviously, these bigger fields, you're going to be using bigger tractors, bigger equipment, so I think you're already set horsepower-wise. But some of the smaller fields, you may need to look at something else. So far, what I'm seeing here is that there is a slight rise, slight dip, slight groove as you're kind of wandering around on here. Like I said, these bigger fields, you're already going to be driving around with much larger horsepower anyways, so I don't see this really being too much of an issue. Let's head on over here and whoa. Like a glove. Oh, it was almost like it was planned. Oh, man. So this is a 4X map, just so you guys are aware. And from what I understand, this map, or at least this concept of a map, has been introduced, or was introduced in FS13. My first experience really with the game has been in FS19, a little bit into 17, but that's about it. So I don't remember this. This wasn't in my knowledge base. So if you guys know about FS13, where multi-map or this concept of the map came out, please comment down below right now. Let me know, how does this feel in comparison? Is this the same? Is this different? Please let me know. Do me a favor. I would appreciate it. And as we keep on driving around here, like I said before, the map is relatively flat. You have enough little dips and dives and elevation changes to kind of keep you honest in what you're doing, but for the most part, it is pretty darn flat. You're not going to have to worry about, like I said before, oversizing anything. You don't really have to worry about major horsepower problems at all. You should be fine with pretty much everything you got, but I don't think you're going to be using a, I don't know, a 4, well, let's go with a 4-meter plow on these fields. I don't think you're going to go with a 2-meter seeder. I just don't see that happening out on these large fields over here. So I don't think that's going to be too much of an issue. I do want to kind of head over this way because we do have some pretty cool things over here. I think this is where we're going, or where I want to take us. Let's see right here. All right, I think this might be, I'm not sure what that says. I do apologize if you guys do know. I think this is one of the stores. Yeah, I think this is one of the stores for going ahead and selling stuff. So it's pretty darn neat. Pretty darn neat. Kind of neat how it's set up. Like I said, it's loosely based in Germany, so kind of keep that in your mind. But it is pretty neat as you kind of travel around the map here and get the opportunity to take a look at some of this stuff. It's just it's a great map for doing multiplayer. I mean, when I first popped this thing open, started looking at it, started driving around, that was the first thing that came to my mind, was that this is 100% a great setup for multiplayer. Not so much like a competitive sort of thing, but more of a let's go out there, let's conquer the world together sort of thing. At least that's kind of what I'm getting out of it. So here we have one of the unique places. and it is the pizzeria. So that's pretty cool. You get to go ahead and make pizza here. This one. Let's see here. Or is this, no, I think that's just a selling point. I do apologize. I thought this was one of the production facilities, but it is not. It is a selling point, so that's pretty darn cool. Let's continue on our little ride. Got a nice little pond out there. Gotta like that. Let's just go down this, because I believe this area you can actually purchase if you really want to. Are some of these areas you can go ahead and purchase. So if you're taking a look at Forestry, obviously from everything that we've seen so far, everything we've had the opportunity to talk about so far, this is not a forestry map. Not even close. Pretty much if you want to do forestry, you have to plant trees, or you can look at trying to nibble up some of these little plots, and that's about it. Other than that, this is not a forestry map. It is 100% a production map. It's ready for you to rock, ready for you to roll, and even as we're kind of driving around these fields, the fields are set up for mass production. When you're going ahead and doing small stuff, you have to make everything count. You can't really rely on one thing at all. On this here, you can get by with one massive harvest and really hold yourself off. You'll be doing just fine with one harvest of one of these fields here, and that should set you up for quite some time. So as we're kind of looping around here, we're kind of getting back to where we first started, and we're back off in the corner of the map. And like I said, guys, I don't want to make it sound like it's a terribly negative thing, but it is a relatively flat map. But like I said, like we talked about with the forestry, it's set up for productions. That's what it is. This is a production map. Like I said, 47 productions. It's super, super cool. Super, super cool. And if that's what you want to jump into and that's what you want to go ahead and do, by golly, this is perfect. So with that being said, guys, let's fly up into the sky and take a look at this map from up above. All right, everyone, let's go up into the sky. And here we are up in the sky, taking a peek at these fields. Like I said, you really can see how large they really are. Once we get up here, once you get that opportunity to see everything, these fields are absolutely massive. You do have a couple placeable areas right here. There's one more over on the other side that I know we drove past. It is pretty neat. You have that. You can get yourself rocking and rolling right on there. Selling facilities right in here. Pretty darn slick. Nice little setup where you got to drive around through the facility. May want to watch out for those fences. I know there's a lot of space, but I know I'd hit the fences. Pretty darn neat. Pretty darn neat. The big name of the game here on this one isn't necessarily the landscaping. Like I said before, it is production. It's 100% a production styled map. It's ready to go. It's ready to rock for doing production, even though you do have this area up here. This forestry area up here where you can go ahead and cut down trees. You have your sawmill, you have all that jazz. You rock and roll. You're going to need wood for pallets. You got to make pallets somehow. You're going to have to cut the trees down. I don't know if you can necessarily buy the lumber. Maybe there's a mod for that. I'm not too sure, guys. I'm not too sure. But like I said, as you see around here, it's wide open. It is wide open. This is absolutely perfect for multiplayer. Get you, get your friends, get everyone you know involved. There's a lot of stuff going on here. We all could definitely use a little bit of help. And with that being said, if you guys are liking what you're seeing, liking what you're hearing, go ahead and smash that like button. Hit the notification bell that way you know when this and other great videos of mine are coming on out. Go ahead, share this with somebody who likes options. Lots of options, like the option of what to make next. Production, not production. Holy cats, there's lots of it. Go ahead, hit that subscription. It really does help the channel out a super, super ton. And if you want to, guys, go ahead, comment down below. Let me know which one of these production facilities would you want to jump into first. Myself, personally, I think I'd go make potato pancakes. I think that'd be absolutely awesome. That's where I'd go. Potato pancakes for me. Check mark 1. You betcha. Let me know what you guys would want to go ahead and do, and you let me know what production facility you'd want to start rocking and rolling with. Thanks for stopping by.